As you can see on my screen, hopefully you're able to see it. I would like to get some feedback on what you perceive the reflection is of what you're looking at. Just give me an insight, feedback. I would love your feedback. Just jump in, raise your hand, and I can acknowledge you. And just tell me, what are you thinking? What are you perceiving when you see the screen or you see the image in front of you? And what information is it conveying to you? Please, you can either come off mute or you can just raise your hand and I'll acknowledge you. Again, welcome, welcome, welcome. Anybody want to be a risk taker? Y'all can all see the screen okay? Everybody can see what I'm sharing? Yes? Can you hear me okay? Welcome, Vanessa.
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, welcome. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not trying to give nobody no homework. Like, oh, there go Mr. G again trying to give us homework. Always in his school mindset. This is not homework. This is something just to reflect on and just give me what you think, what is going through your mind as you perceive this. Just unmute yourself and everybody can unmute yourself anytime and just jump in and share your thought. No takers? And what do you think, Frank? Jane? Anybody out there? Blessings, welcome. Shannon, welcome. Tony, thoughts? Everybody said, I'm just here to listen. I'm like, oh, I have time to be talking. So stressful talking. All right, well, I guess I'll get started. Last week, we'll reflect back on last week workshop. I will go back and I'll come back to this slide. Let's go back to last week's slide. Last week, we talked about harnessing the quantum field through complexity, right? We talk about expanding possibility, right? By releasing limited attachments. And we correlated that to the alphabets. Well, if you have the alphabet, right? We'll come back to this. If you have the alphabet and you lock up the letters because of an attachment, pain, suffering, lack, whatever it is, you lock up the letters, you no longer have accessibility to those letters to spell the reality that you desire. And as you perceive these letters, I'm going to be going to the next stage to show you that reality is just like that. Being able to visualize something and perceive it and hold your creator, which is aspect of yourself, accountable to reflect that back to you. And so it is important that we really think about this concept of this letter that exists within you. I don't know, different alphabet in different culture, but the alphabet represents the potential for words, ideas, and story, right? And because we live in a reality that is an illusion, right? It's a projected illusion by you. It operates under the same principle, right? Just like I can look at these letters and I can see LOVE, I can see the love within the letters, and I can use these letters as long as I don't attach to them and reuse them and reuse them and reuse them as many times as I need to spell the story of my life or the story that I desire. A lot of times we're using these letters and we're spelling this aspect of our lives based on reflections of people, places, and things out here. And so we lock ourselves up and we find ourselves limited in our experience of abundance in a constructive way. We, however, experience abundance, but it's not the way we desire to experience abundance. And so it's important that we really recognize, and I'll recommend everybody get the alphabets and just stick it on the wall somewhere as a reminder that that power exists within you to create your reality. And I will be taking that to the next level today so you can understand fully. We have missed the boat. We have been redirected to see outside of ourselves, and we have lost connections to who we really are. Right? Because everybody has a story, and they want you to navigate to their story. I'm not telling you my story. I'm telling you there's great stories within you. I'm sharing with you there's great stories within you. And I'm giving you access to tools. Put these tools on the shelf that you can leverage later. You have the power. Your reality is your fault. Conscious or unconsciously, it is your fault. You have to take accountability. And again, as we talk about the Chico technology, well, you now have a tool to leverage in order to detach, to free up these letters. So if these letters are stuck in pain, right? The goal is not to try to cure a disease or cure illness or get rid of the illness. It's to change the mentality of the illness and begin to perceive beyond the illness. We get stuck in the process of healing, right? And that process of healing can be forever. It can be an abundant process, right? You're always seeking healing. So you have one problem, another problem, another problem, and the problem just persists. Right? And that which you resist tend to persist in your life. So the goal is to let go of the chase of solving the problem and begin to spell out or perceive your reality. So when we leverage the chi energy or the chi core technology, we're leveraging the technology in a way to give us access to remove the bondages, the detachments of things. Right? A lot of times in the past, not from previous experience and existence, and that which I've come to understand, meditation has been a great tool where you center yourself and you become equanimous, right? You become neutral and neutral of people, places, and things. And that is the whole purpose of teaching meditation yoga, right? Learning to center that self without the attachment. And when you meditate, is to observe, become the observer, right? And the perceiver. Right? And so you go through this whole process of sitting still and learning to detach and going through the agitation, going through the frustration and the time spent doing it. And then you have to find the right environment to do it. It's just a lot that has to happen on out here for you to be able to leverage access to yourself. And so now with the chi core technology, you're able to do that unconsciously by just playing in the background. And so far, I'm seeing that. And once you begin to remove those attachments and you free those letters, now you can send signal directly to your higher self and says, okay, this is the reality that I desire because that's what I'm vibrating on. So when you look at this, all right, I want you to see the image that is inside, that is this, the smallest image that says you. Notice there's a thought that's happening or thinking process happening. Notice it's sending vibration, right? That vibration sends a signal to the next version, which is your higher self outside of you to create the reality for you. Okay? It doesn't listen to the words you're speaking of. You see, a lot of people have been creating this false premise that we can get on our knees and speak to God and God answer prayer. God does not answer prayer. God answers your vibration, your essence, that which you are, right? Because if that was the case, then it's easy to use deductive rationalizing and say, well, God didn't heal that person's child because that person is a sinner. I've heard that with people in certain positions of uh, authority within the religious construct, right? Well, God didn't bless you because you're not saved or you're not sanctified enough. This is always something to justify. But when it's happening to them, then it's all God is testing me, right? God is not testing you. You're just going to hell in a paper basket. God is testing me. And those are those type of distortions we have to learn to let go of because God and when the idea of God is limited when we begin to think of God in that way. God is absolute, right? And in that sense, God is those are represented as those letters. He provides the source. Nothing more, nothing less. You are part of God in itself. So God cannot go within itself and judge itself, condemn itself. God is trying to experience an idea of beingness within itself. So everything must be unconditional for you to be the beingness of God's knowingness. And that is critical to understand. You are the beingness of God's all knowingness. And so God has to perceive this unconditionally. Doesn't matter what you do, what you say, those letters are yours. Those are your source. Those are your spark, your divine essence to do what you will do with it. There is no judgment. There's only transformation. We also talk about the idea of duality. Every time you create a spectrum of that self by reflecting it back to you. So if you perceive yourself as being this sanctified person, you will see unsanctified person based on your definition. But these are based on your definition. And the goal is to learn to not judge. The goal is to learn to love the reflection of your creation. Right? Ultimately, our goal is to evolve to where we're detached from these ideas and become neutral in alignment with God and be unconditional. Unconditional is very difficult. Right? It's not something we can comprehend within the scope of our human construct. We're too limited because we have too many aspects of ourselves still locked up. The human brain is 0.00000000000, almost close to infinite, 0.1% unlocked. So most of it is locked up. And so you're not tapped into the full version of yourself while in this physical construct. And there's a reason behind it because it's a subjective experience of the totality of who you are. So again, this is your reality. So you can see your reality goes to infinite and beyond. Now, the interesting thing about this idea, which it says as above, so below, as within, so as outward, all these micro, macro nature, right? The holographic universe talk about we are in the hologram and every aspect of the hologram can reconstruct the entire hologram. And that shows that we're all connected. Everything is connected. And it begins and ends with you. Your reality is everything you perceive around you. And the way you vibrate, this is critical, the way you vibrate sends the signal to create your surroundings. And the more you detach, the more you begin to expand. Attachments contracts you and limits you. I think one analogy I talked about as far as expanding is like sitting outside your home with a computer and you go to Google Map and you find yourself and you zoom on top of you. Right? We spend our whole life just seeing ourselves, right? The outside, not even the inner, because the inner is infinite. So we don't even go inside. We just look on the outside. We look at the surface. How am I looking? How's my hair? How's my face? How's my body? And we just zoom in on the physical and the problems around the physical, never expanding beyond the physical. We definitely can see inside, from that perspective. But what we can begin to do is expand outside. As you begin to expand your awareness on the outside, it forces you to go inside, right? And you'll begin to understand because as you expand outward, your inner begins to also expand as it relates to balancing you out. So a lot of you right now on that awakening process, you're beginning to expand within yourself, and it can be painful. It come in it comes in with symptoms, sometimes physical level, emotional level, psychological level, but you will experience some symptoms. Again, you now have a tool to help counter those symptoms because those symptoms are attachments. When manifestations come in the form of symptoms because your body is expanding, you might say, well, I have a headache, let me take drugs for it, right? Well, I have a headache, let me go do this for it, right? And that's form of that attachment again. And when we look at this device and say, well, can I use this device for my headache? Yes, you can, because the device will allow you to disconnect from the idea that something is wrong with your head, right? So this idea that you are fine. And so it begins to strip you of that idea. And if you do not attach to it, you will begin to see simplicity will come in to give you the tools that you need, right? I need you all to understand how powerful this tool is. Everybody out there talk a lot of stuff, but we haven't really tapped into the potential of this tool. Right? This tool strips you and expands you to the potential, right? If you have the knowingness with the intention that I see myself doing this, you will experience that. Right? As I said last week, I've never experienced joy and happiness like the way I'm experiencing it right now. And it's all because I'm letting go of fear and distortions and frustrations and anger of people, places, and things. The more I let go, the deeper I fall in love, not just with my inner beingness, but my outer beingness as well. And when I look at people, places, and things, I have nothing but love and grace and space for them to grow and be that version of themselves because they're obviously a reflecting aspect of myself on a more expansive level. So, as you can see, you're so much more than chasing the outside. And so when we begin to chase people, also you begin to in tune with that vibratory nature of that person, because you begin to think about that person. Remember, as you can see, the image shows a thought creating the vibration. So ask yourself, of all the thoughts of people, places, and things you had over the last 48, 24, 48 hours, was it constructive for your evolution in a positive direction, or was it a little bit destructive? Because we spend more time frustrated in pain, frustrated with people, places, and things in anger, and we find ourselves locked up. Right? And so ask yourself, the last 48 hours, was my thought pattern of joy, happiness, peace, calmness, or did I feel like I was in hell? Some of you feel like you're on your way to hell in a paper basket, soaked in gasoline on fire. Everything is going wrong. Like Mr. G, Mr. Galita, every time I turn around, I feel like something. And that's good because you're being tested. You're being tested to just be still and detach from those distortions. Because as you begin to let it go, it begins to dissipate. You're not giving it any more vibratory connection. Right? You're not allowing it to sit in you and you begin to resonate, because when you begin to resonate, you begin to send signals. Right? And that's what you don't want. You want to send signals out to your higher version of yourself. Because when you vibrate, your higher version, as you can see, is the creator. It creates the trees, it creates nature, it creates everything for you. It will create the reality based on the information you transmitted to it, because it loves you unconditionally. It obviously thinks you want more of it because you're holding on to it. And so you have to let it go. You have to let it go through love, through light, whatever means, whatever tools, let it go. And leverage the Chico again to help you let it go. Don't chase. The resource will come. I promise you, right? But it will come after you have let go of things, because everything in your life have a connection to that money you're looking for, right? There are things happening in your life. There are sickness and, problems with kids, problems with husband, problems with other people, all trying to get you to let go, detach, so you can get to that financial freedom, because a lot of us seem like that's what we're struggling with, right? And there's no need to struggle with that, right? And that is critical to understand, because the abundance of energy is out here. Is how we are transforming or transmuting that energy into the reality that we're experiencing. And so we want to be cognitive now. It says, okay, I don't really feel like this reality serves me. So what I need to do, I need to shift. So let me run some love frequency and change the dynamic of how I perceive, myself and perceive around me. The love frequency gets shifted. Let me run some love frequency. Let me run some joy frequency, some happiness. Don't chase spiritual gain. Been there, done that, because all you realize is a loop. You just loop back around, right? Because there's no disconnect between you and the divine. You guys are one. We are all one, right? And so we're chasing this illusion of we are separate from God and we're trying to be one with God, or we're trying to connect to the higher version of ourselves, which we perceive as God. No, you came in not to do that. You came in to have an experience, and you came in to have the best experience that you desire to have. You didn't come in to chase this illusion of spirituality or this illusion of physicality. You come in to see what serves you best. Now, if the chase of the spirituality serves you and you enjoy and you get pleasure, then chase it, right? Because you will continue to chase it. You will never reach the destination of it because you perceive the chase. Well, what do you see beyond the spiritual evolution in your mind? How do you see yourself at the end of that tunnel, of that chase? I meditate 3 days a week, 4 days, 10 days a week. I don't know. You create new days in the week. I meditate 65 hours in a day, even though it's 24 hours. Whatever it is that you have created in your reality, you are chasing. And now ask yourself, at the end of this meditative state, I have now levitated. I can fly. I can do all this stuff. What then, right? Have you thought about that? Or are you just chasing the next level and you're just reacting to what you see? Right? The goal is if you say, I want to be in tune with God, then the answer is not to be in tune with anything out here, being in tune with yourself. Because to go in is to go to God, right? So there's no chase out there, chase inside. Well, once you go inside, you realize, well, you won with God. So what are you chasing? Chasing yourself? Yeah, so you're like a little puppy now chasing your tail, trying to catch that tail. And says, why can't I catch this tail? And everybody around you laughing, like she thinks she's holier than thou. Look at this wannabe sanctified person. And you getting frustrated because you can't catch your tail, right? Because you just hope if I can catch my tail, I will prove to everybody that I'm so great and so phenomenal and so amazing. Yeah? And then you continue just perpetually chasing, chasing, chasing. It's time we stop the chase. It's time we take a deep breath and begin to create. And to do that, you have to detach, free up those letters, so that way the reality is what you want, not what is happening to you, or what you've created to experience with it. Okay? So I'm going to stop here before I continue and see if anyone have any questions or comment or would like to add to what I've said. No, I've said a lot. Go ahead. Erica, welcome. On mute, please. Are you able to unmute, Erica?
Okay, there we go. I
There
wasn't
you
seeing
go.
the
Blessings. How you doing?
microphone. I'm doing well. How are you?
I am blessed. Thank you.
Okay, I have a question. It's not necessarily about this, so I don't know if I should wait. It's something about well, it's kind of about this. It's about the frequencies, and so I have a chi coil and my tablet is not working. So can I still benefit from the frequencies on my phone until I get another tablet, or is it only going to work with with the coils and the tablet itself? Like, is there a way? I guess what I'm trying to say is there a way that I can hook my coils up to the phone, or is there or if I'm just listening to the frequencies for now without the coils, like, am I still gonna get a benefit?
Well, all of the above, but let's narrow down exactly what your desire is. Are you desiring to use a tablet?
I like my tablet. I like using it, and I like using the coils
Okay.
with
Was the tablet
with the
purchased
tablet.
with the device?
Yes.
Okay. So if the tablet was purchased and the tablet is damaged or it's just not connected.
Well, I've had it. I've had this for maybe like 2 years now.
Okay.
So at this point, like, my tablet is no longer under the warranty. So I have to get it fixed on my own, is what I was told.
But your
So,
username and password is attached to the frequencies. Okay? So if the tablet, because you can buy a tablet, right? And
mhm,
you put a request in to send you to update it. And when you log in with your username and password, it should pick up where it left off. So if you went to Best Buy or somewhere, I don't know if David sells just a blank tablet because the username and password is what you purchased, right?
mhm.
That's what gives
Okay.
you access to the frequency, correct?
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So go and get you a nice tablet. You can find a nice tablet at Best Buy or a Walmart. I don't think Kmart is still in business, but Amazon is, yeah, everybody can do Amazon and have that tablet delivered. And then you can put a request in to the customer service to send you a shared drive, right, with the app
Okay.
on it to download on the Android tablet. Right? I
Oh,
believe it's
okay.
Android, and so you'll be able to download it on the tablet, the new tablet, and when you log in, everything should be where it was before, with the upgrades of the updates. If you have access to the frequency you pay for already, you have that, and you will see the features update as well. Does that answer your question? And then also to add, Erica, if you choose to connect, you can also do it live online. You can connect your phone to the cheek oil based on the power supply you have. If you have, I believe the bronze power supply, it is Bluetooth, so you can connect that with Bluetooth, or you can connect it to an adapter, just get an adapter, hook it up to your phone and be able to plug it in directly into the cheek oil power supply if it's the miniature power supply. I believe that most people typically get the ones that have the Bluetooth connector, but if you have the black one, then you can do that as well. But your username and your password is to go to whether you're going online on your phone or any other device. All right. Anybody else would like to contribute to the conversation, because there's no need to buy a device if you're not going to empower yourself to use that device. Uh, I've used many different healing modalities. As I've said, I'm really good at my creativity has no bound when it comes to healing the physical body. I can walk into any space. It doesn't matter whatever distortions happen in the physical body. If I was given access to certain resources, there's no disease I can get rid of the human body. You know, I don't care if it's, I've had people all the way to the last week in hospice recover. So it's not that anything is not possible, right? And I have the confidence when I walk into that space because I know healing is within that person if that's what they desire. That person desire fear and all this other stuff is what they're mimicking, then it's a waste of my time and waste of their time. But as a master holistic strategist, this is the all be all. This is what we've been looking for, because we're not just healing on the surface anymore, and we're healing the mental aspect of ourselves. Mental health was something that always was evasive for me. I mean, every time it's like I was chasing my tail when it comes to mental health. I could heal the physical body, right? With no problem. I've had people hepatitis, cancer, AIDS, herpes, bladder, all of it. Get rid of it, right? And but we couldn't get rid of the mental part. The mental part was always the part that drives them back to it, because it is the programming that was manifesting. And that's something I really had to get into and understand. Well, if I'm looking at the reflection of the image, I can mask the image, right? We can say, oh, you're healed, right? But that person healing begins to answer them. But what is the programming? Because the creator out here, you need to understand, when you vibrate, the creator is masterful. He is extremely creative, right? He can create out of nothingness, right? The idea of nothingness, because it's a thought process, right? He can go inside itself, that higher version of itself, and find a way to create pain in a way that you couldn't even imagine, create suffering in a way you couldn't even imagine, create lack in a way you couldn't imagine, create fear in a way you couldn't imagine. But it can also do the opposite. The creator just sits there and says, how creative do I need to be for this person? And it wants to serve you in that way. You want to serve you in that way. And we have to wake up and realize there's no enemy out there. There's no devil out there chasing you, right? That is a control mechanism. The only devil is the one you create within yourself. Right? Because when you truly understand the nature of the infinite, if you understand, when you begin to really go inside and know that God is infinite and that God is the Alpha, if you really believe this fundamental principle, God is the beginning, God is the end. Well, if God is the beginning and God is the end and I'm in between, then I'm part of God. I cannot exist outside of God because God is the beginning, God is the end. But the problem is people are telling God is the beginning, God is the end, and then there's something else outside of you. There's this devil, right? Well, no, there's nothing outside of God because you exist inside of God. So the power of God dwells in you because you exist inside of God. So stop allowing people to create this false illusion to trap you within the scope of God. So you get in God, you create a bubble, and then you pretend this enemy is outside this bubble to get you. The only enemy is the enemy within you. And you create that enemy. And even if you read scripture and read the book of Job, the analogy is there that the devil couldn't even do nothing in that allegory until God gives him instructions to do it. And then one of the interesting part in that allegory, the person said, well, God give me more blessing for my suffering. No, that's not how God works. God doesn't punish you and then kill all your kids and then replace your kids because your kids are not replaceable. But it creates this illusion, and we begin to connect with this illusion, and we begin to limit because that's a vibration. That's a vibration that God has the potential to take your kids away from you. And then you're yelling, "Oh God, why did you take my kid?" Well, you believe it was possible and you accepted that truth because you said, well, it's God's will. No, God doesn't have a will in that sense. That's men's will, men's illusion. God is infinite. God is unconditionally loving. He does not care what you choose because he made you infinite because you're within it. And you just have to awaken to that infinite potential within God. And I think that's that awakening process we also have to go through because we've been trapped. We talked about a few sessions ago about the allegory of the cave. We've been watching this shadow on the wall for so long, and we're not going inside ourselves to see the infinite nature. Quantum mechanics says, right? This has been proven. When you go within the cells and you begin to go into the quantum nature of your body, your physical body, when you begin to go inner on the physical sense, it's like the outer universe. When you begin to look at the subatomic particles and how they're designed, it looks like looking in the heavens to the infinite. And that has been proven. You will see the nature of stars and galaxies and universe all within you. You go inside. So as above, so within you, because you are boundless, you are in the existence of what God is. And God gives us pictures of that, and we still go and just contract and contract. I forgot to drop off Piper's skates. Right? So I need us to love. If we say we want to represent the idea of God, then represent the idea of love, right? And that's that unconditional love. Begin to practice it, but begin to practice it within yourself. This level of definition of God doesn't contradict anybody else's God, right? It doesn't contradict, Allah. It doesn't contradict because Allah means God. I hear people bickering. Well, God is not Allah. Well, it's just a word translation of God, right? God in another language, and you arguing like, no, I don't know. We're not stupid, but sometimes we can feel stuck on stupidity, right? And they're arguing, going back and forth. No, God is this, God is that. Well, you also said that we're not to make God in our image, right? We also said that. We also said that God exists in all of us. He dwells in her. So why don't you just give them the choice to go inside themselves and find God their way? Just like your life cannot be dictated based on the action of someone else, right? No one can mimic another person's life. No one can mimic another person's experience. So stop mimicking this idea that I want to live in a spiritual construct like this other person. No, that is not how reality works. You are going to lose yourself. And then when you lose yourself, then it becomes mentally distorted because you lose your power over yourself. And you're always looking for someone to come and build you out. I've been a victim of that for a long time. And so when I was given the wisdom, go inside, stop looking outside, because you can't reach outside. Oh. If you were to start walking right now and trying to get to infinite, you can't. Right? You can barely walk 100 miles without passing out, right? But if you go inside, you can tap into infinite because infinite is within you. The kingdom is within you. The kingdom is not out here. Out here just mirrors the kingdom, right? And so we out here looking at the illusion, trying to reach and touch it. It's just a projection. The kingdom is inside. It's like a movie projector that projects. And when it projects out, you see the projection and you're trying to experience the projection. No, the movie is inside of you. Go and change the movie that you don't desire out here, rather than trying to pretend like, well, let me touch this invisible field, right? That is mirroring on the wall somewhere and pretend like I can control it. You can't control the projection, right? And so what do? We're lost out here. And so we use the device and says, okay, I need to be calm. I need to be centered. I need to be more compassionate. I need to be more open. I need to be more loving. Yeah. Chase those things because those things lead you inward, right? Because you need to be compassionate with yourself. You know unconditionally all the dirt you have done in your day. You know all the distorted thought you have had, right? And you deserve grace. You deserve unconditional grace to be experienced. And so you go inside and you begin to say, no matter what, I love myself unconditionally. And you begin to go inward, and just begin to perpetually love yourself. And the deeper you go, the deeper you fall in love with yourself, the more you're able to project it outward because you're projecting outward what is inside of you. And so for me and for others that I'm observing, right? And because I've become the observer, as I said in previous show, the soul, the essence of the divine, the spark, conceives. That means every potential has already been created. It was created at the beginning, whenever the beginning was. I wasn't there. I was a single thought, just like all of you. It was created at the beginning. The soul conceives every possible reality because the soul is aspect of God. Right? That single thought. The mind retrieves. The mind is the canvas by which we create something out of nothing. Ask yourself, how can you be made in the image of God in any other way but within the mind? Because God creates something out of nothing, he gives you the power to create something out of nothing in the mind. The message is clear. You were made in the image of God with the power and the glory of God within you, projected. But you have to go inside to tap into that power. God is not out here running your mouth and talking to people and says, you are evil, you are this, and you're a sinner, you read that. That is not God, right? God said, go inside and be one with yourself and vibrate, right? And when you begin to vibrate, you begin to tap into people, places, and things. And the message is clear sometimes, even in the Bible or in other books, when it says in the beginning, before Abraham was, I was, right? That's the same thing, right? Because when you go in, you were there at the beginning. So no one came before you because we all came together. It was one spark that went forward. So no one, so all you have to do is go inside and tap. And when you begin to go inside, oh my goodness, you begin to recognize so much version of yourself and so much aspect of yourself. You begin to let go of that fear, something, the fear of death, fear of, aging, fear of suffering, all that stuff. You realize fear of chasing things. Like I need to chase this to be able to achieve this. And I see a lot of people when we get stuck in that chase, we really get stuck in that chase. We get consumed and then it becomes an obligation. So we got to keep doing it. We got to keep doing it because it gives us a sense of purpose. No, no, no. You need to be free, right? Free from the bondage of attachments to people, places, things, and even ideas. Be free to do what you want to do when you want to do it. That is true abundance. If you want to know what wealth is, it's the ability to get up in the morning and do what you want to do when you want to do it with no restriction. Now, oh my God, I got these meetings. I got to call these people. I got to do this. I got to be at that school. You're not free. You're not abundant. When you are truly free, take a deep breath. You get to choose what you do in those moments. And there are people living that freedom. People who are wealthy that we see are not free. They're bound. They're bound by the chase. And that chase is always chasing something else. You chase money, you're going to chase power. You chase power, you're going to chase control of people. It's always going to be that chase because you're stuck in that chase. But as I said, there's the beautiful part of you is that if you chase out here the things that you chase, you will come back without it. So you can learn the lesson of not chasing. And that the only thing you should pursue is that knowing that self within what we call the kingdom. Right? And so this technology now, as I keep going back, helps you with that chase. Right? If you want to meditate in 30 minutes, it puts you in that meditative state. Just run in the background, just sit in the midst of it. That's unconsciously experiencing transformation. Because how many of us would get excited about going to the gym? Because we get pumped up. We get a motivational speaker. God, you can do this. And you're like, oh yeah, I got this. And then you go to the gym one time, like, Lord, I don't have this. I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And then you at the gym just judging people. Look at her. She thinks she's cute. Look at him. Why he's flexing? You got this guy flexing. Every time he flexes, he got to buy a new shirt. And then you just hating on yourself. I wish I could buy a new shirt like that too. And you're just in people's business. And then when you and when you recognize that, you're like, I'm not here to work out. I'm doing the same thing I was doing at home on the couch. I can do that on my soap opera, you know, or on my reality show. Y'all know y'all on your reality show screaming at the character. I can't believe you did that. Who are you to do that? Oh my God, I can't believe. And then you calling people on the phone. I can't. Hey, Mary, did you watch the episode today? Did you see what he did? And she's like, I sure
Mm.
did. That healing. And y'all going back and forth like he was real. And then you're mad at each other. Lord, we got to pray for him because I don't know if he's going to make the next episode because it's real, right? The illusion is real no matter how you direct it, right? And that's energy, that's vibration, right? But you can disconnect from that and says, okay, what is the purpose of going to the gym? Is it because I feel like it's going to serve me to feel healthy? Do I need that attachment to feel healthy? Right? Because what is going to happen when you run the frequency and you begin to see yourself healthy, you begin to get inspired, right? And synchronicity kicks in where you end up moving next to a gym, right? Or somebody end up saying, I'm relocating and I got all this workout thing. Would you like to put in your garage? Or something just happens to bring it to you where it's not resisting anymore to you, right? You can do it with convenience and ease. That's when you know you're in tune, when things begin to come to you without you chasing it. And so I need us to, recognize that when we're chasing, we're losing connection to ourselves. Take a deep breath and let it come to you. You have the creator out here. When you go into your thought, you are creating a signal, the message, the information, the email, the text, whatever it is, to the creator out here and says, this is what I want. And the creator says it shall be done. We talk about genie, all those, that it's no different. You give it, it is bound by the law of creation. Creator is not just out here willy-nilly picking people over other people. That's not how it works. People are successful because they vibrate with the mentality of being successful. They get up in the morning to breathe the idea of being successful. But they're successful in one aspect of their life and they're not successful in the other aspect of their life.
Right.
I've met doctors that are more sickly and got more sickly family, and you're a doctor, right? And I've seen people who are opposite of that, never been sick, never chased any type of health. They just know somehow within themselves how to maintain health, right? And it's like they breathe it. They just have this idea that, hey, listen, I've always been healthy. I've never been sick. And they carry that mentality. And speaking of which, there was a show a while back. I was talking on the show about a ticket that I got, right? And we had an amazing, scholar come up here, and she was saying that because she used to work for the ticket, whatever the police department and so forth, that she never really think twice about getting a ticket. So I changed my mentality about that, right? I said, I want to drive without seeing police officers because they make me nervous. I don't know why they make me nervous. It's like, I don't know, they feel like they're going to give me a ticket, right? I even know I'm doing nothing wrong. And all this thought in my mind. It's not like I'm doing anything wrong, right? But it's just this idea of fear because and she was saying she was going 100 miles. I haven't tested that yet. So no one out there saying Mr. G is driving 100 miles. Keep an eye out for him. But I have noticed because I changed my perception, I don't feel like I'm being bothered with that.
Mm.
And all I had to do was change my perception of that is not part of my reality anymore. And every time I see a police officer, in fact, this is true. Right? I had a police officer flash me to slow down. That's when you know you're in the zone. He flashes like slow down, and he did his hand like they just slow down and kept on going. Normally, it's a whoop coming behind me, and that brought perspective for me that when you are not chasing the fear and chasing the distortion, you can have the life that you desire. Right? I know someone raised their hand. Go ahead, Shannon. You can unmute and ask your question.
Okay.
How
Sorry.
you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am blessed. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, so I want to make sure I've applied this. Um, Okay, so say my goal is healing,
Mhm.
and so I use the frequencies to heal and get in that frequency, right?
No.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
Human.
You don't use the frequency to heal. You use the frequency to align you what exists beyond the healing.
Okay.
So once you're healed, what do you see yourself doing? That the distortions in your body could not be there while you're doing it. Let me give you an example. Right?
Okay,
Let's say
just
if
like
you have,
limited.
yeah, if you have sciatica pain, right, and you have nerve pains and you can't get up to do anything, right? See yourself running. See yourself playing with the grandbabies or whomever. See yourself walking the beach and doing whatever. Perceive that, run the frequency, and then synchronicity will hit. And the people, places, and things will come into your existence to help you eliminate that. Because you cannot, if you use the frequency you're attaching to it in order to on a physical level, you need the device to be on the quantum level to change the programming so you become free. That will allow you to navigate. So you might get on a plane and say, I'm going on vacation. And then you might meet somebody that gives you something and you like, it just blows your mind. Like, how come I didn't know about this? And all of a sudden you're healed, right? It exists. I know that because I've experienced that. That's how I came across a lot of my modality because I have the mindset. I have this pain cream that I put together, right? In 5 minutes, it begins to neutralize the healing, but it goes inside, use mitochondria healing, use stem cells healing. So you can heal the surface, but then the mind is still defeating that. So I need to get beyond the mind with people, run that frequency, see yourself beyond, because you will meet someone like me that will come to you and give you something. You are not, because if you're not feeling it in the moment, then it's easier to in tune with the mind now, right? It's like, oh, I feel good. Now you can perceive that. But as long as you put that cream on and the cream dissipate, because everything on the physical level dissipate, then the pain comes back and you go back into that mental state. And you never really leave the mental state, because even when the pain goes away, you're fearful of the pain coming back. So you become stuck in that loop. So the device is meant to see yourself beyond and then be open to anything, including the device healing.
Okay.
Does that
And
make
then,
sense?
yeah, and you had mentioned like, okay, if the devil was chasing you, that's like resistance. Is that an attachment that you have to get rid of?
Yes.
Okay.
Because, and then let's go back, because a lot of times we'll come to believe. In the book of Job, are you familiar with the book of Job?
Yes.
Yeah. Did the devil did anything without God's permission?
No.
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 So why you go into the devil? Why not go to See, you're chasing the messenger. No, I'm going to source. And to go to source is say this doesn't align with me because I recognize source. You see, you can't recognize source because you're too busy recognizing the devil. And the devil is fictitious. It's part of the illusion, right? Source needs you to go in to recognize that you're part of it. And when you recognize you're part of it, you elevate because you're in tune with it. You become the creator. You understand that you are both the avatar and the creator at the same time because now you're in tune. That is a higher level of awareness. Right? So you don't chase the devil. And the first step is to accept whatever the devil comes, you know, whatever the devil brings. That's the first step. You run the frequency and just stay calm. Because all the devil's going to scream in your ears. Because the devil now needs your permission because you have telling Father or God, oh, I'm the creator here, right? Because if you look at this image, there's infinite creator, right? There's layers of creator. On the physical reality, there's a creator right above you, right? You're now in control of that creator on the physical level, even though there's a deeper, higher level. The more we move into density reality, the more we expand our creative expression. But on the physical level, the person out here that's perceiving you to be physical, you're in control of that person now. And you have not taken the power from that person. It's like taking the responsibility and power from somebody who was not doing their job, right? You know, let's say you go to a bank and you got a banker and the banker is irresponsible and you decide to go to school, I can be my own banker, right? Now I'm my own banker. I don't need a banker anymore because he was being negligent in what he was doing. Right? And so that's why we look at this big shift in cryptocurrency. We're taking power back, giving it to the people, and said you become your own banker, you become your own way of exchange, right? And so now people are feeling power, people are becoming wealthy, as the bankers always been wealthy, but now they have power. You've taken back that power. Take back their power by recognizing that you give the instruction to the devil.
Okay.
It's confusing.
And so am I correct in thinking, okay, I want to align with my highest, truest self, which is infinite, which is connected to highest divine source. So I want to align with that,
Yes, but
right?
start with aligning with you, because when you align with you, you automatically align with theirs, right? You haven't been aligned with you. You haven't seen your power. You haven't seen that it's you. Begin to see you, that being that person, right? You're looking for something else out there to be that person. You are the projector sending the signal out to the creator to reflect back based on your vibratory nature, right? Change your vibration, you send the signal, they must comply, because that's creation. Right? There is source, and there's the creator. There's the creator, the ultimate creator, but then there's a creator. You have created a creator to reflect back to you your experience. Well, we're being trained to get stuck in this illusion, which is phenomenal, because if you're all powerful and you could believe you're not powerful, how creative is that? Amazing, right? On the other side, they're celebrating you. Look at you go. Look at you pretending like you don't have no power. Look at you pretending like you're suffering. Oh my God, that is so exciting, because it's not you, not the infinite version of you, just a physical body. You've tuned into the physical body. You think the physical body limitation is you, but you're so much more. You are all that is, because you're part of all that is. When you begin to recognize that in you, you'll begin to see that power.
I see. Okay, that helps. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and I always say, there's everything that comes into your reality, it comes in as a double-edged sword. Right? So if we go back to this screen, right, you notice there's the potential of positivity, the potential of negativity. Right? There's infinite potential. This is the creativity of this nature, right, of the creator. So let's imagine positive 236 is the perfect health for you as you can perceive it. But negative 236 also exists in your potential, right? Now, how do you build to that? It has been hard to build to that. But now you can say, I just need to be calm. I need to remove. And when we talk about scalar, that's all it's doing, is removing the blockages to free you up.
Okay.
Because when it free, remember I said in one of the calls that if you take your hand and you extend it, right? And you have a horse tied to your right hand, which is your emotions and your belief system. And then you have the left hand tied to another horse, which is your ego and all these other things, right? And they're pulling at you. You can't move forward, right? When you run the frequency, you begin to look left and right, begin to realize there's nothing there. You're the one holding your hands up like this and pretending like something is pulling at you. And if you let it go, it goes away, right? Because it is the illusion, and you're powerful enough to create the reality of the force of these horses pulling you. But why put more energy into that fear when you can take that effort and put it into love, compassion, joy, happiness, and seeing yourself and visualizing yourself have those experiences? So going back again, whether we're looking at a scripture or looking at anything, these are tools. These are tools to recognize people perception of themselves as it relates to God. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. These were people perception. And even Ishel, I think they call him Jesus, but his original name was Ishel. Ishel said, greater things you shall do, right? But no one tell you that. How can you say this is God and God says you can do greater things, and you're like, well, how can I do that? He told you could, because he understood the wisdom that greatness is inside of you. You don't need to go chase it outside. So you're chasing this illusion of this person. Oh, I need to love Jesus. But Jesus said, love yourself. And the love within yourself overflow to the love of others. Those are the only two things that matter. Love. Love conquers all. Love, but the devil, oh my God, the devil. Oh, the devil. You attach to the devil instead of attached to love. You attach to people, places, and things that you have defined as a devil. My mother, you turn around and look at, oh, look at this person. That's the devil just showed up at work today. You're not defining everybody as your devil. And they will respond in kind. So again, this is you in there, and around you, as you can see the image of another head. That is also you. And when you go beyond that, notice the second one is no longer a physical construct. It's just a thought. That is also you. All the way to the infinite. That is also you. So your focus is to go and get grounded to you, the inner person, and recognize the signal you're sending to your outer person. And hold them accountable. Hold your creator, because it's you. Hold yourself accountable. And sometimes you will be tested, but the creator will always come through. It always comes through, even if it's a last moment, it must come through. And that last moment come through is because you still have a belief system that it could not happen. But as long as you continue to just align with the vibration, it must come through. But if you completely forget about the how, it comes through faster. Holding on to the how slows it down. Because we're not meant to say, how is this going to happen? Because that's the creative expression of the creator you put there. You put the creator there before you animated a physical reality. You went to McDonald's, right? You said, okay, let me get that mother, let me get that father, let me get that cousin, let me get that crazy neighbor, let me get them crazy kids, especially them two right there. Yeah, them two crazy kids. Put them on the menu right there. And then what would you like to take this? Let me get a little bit of an abuse. You add a little bit of some cussing, some emotional struggle. Yeah, let me get a little fight in there. Let somebody just hit me, just to taste that. I wouldn't like to taste it. And that's how you are coming in here. Because it's an illusion. It's a game. And you jump in and you forget that. You're like, oh my God, what have I done? Right? But you left yourself up here that made the request. He's still there. And all you have to do is recognize and say, okay, I don't want that person putting their hands on me. Okay, let's move from that. I know what that means. I know what it feels like. And I have compassion for people who are abusive or people who do the abusing, because it's all part of reflective nature. Right? And you love both of them. I love them and let it go. Right? What am I looking for? I'm looking for me to grow within myself and expand within myself. And I need to let go of all the people, places, and things that limit me from doing that. And the ultimate goal is not to find God, but to find yourself within God. You're lost.
That's good.
God. Go and find yourself within God and know that self within God. Know that you are the glory, you are the might, you are all that is and a bag of chips. And when you recognize that, you are truly in tune. And you no longer fear things, because to be absent from the body is, it said, to be present with the Lord, but to be absent from the body is to return back to that which you were. You came in, you shall return. And then let's make it scientific. Energy is you, cannot be created. It cannot be destroyed. It only transforms. Now you mean to tell me I got energy now? I can play with the language of energy? Come on. I can help myself deal with some of these fears. I can help myself deal with some of these distortions. And some of you would try really hard to heal yourself with this chi coil without the intention, and you're going to blame the chi coil. It's not the chi coil. You've got to activate the chi coil with your intentions. Whether you're listening to it, whether you're feeling it next to you, put your intention and says, I will sit in the midst of this and realign myself to find the best version of myself. And then begin to test it. See how you were the next day. Look for synchronicity. Synchronicity, things that you pay attention to see, oh, I can see remnants of changes. There are people that used to be around no longer calling me, or people that used to say things that saying, coming to me and saying hi, saying the opposites. There are people who are like my kids loving on me, or whatever situation. You begin to see that. Don't get excited about that. Go back in and say, okay, I see synchronicity. Let me continue to walk this back. You got this. We got this. Okay. Another thing I also want to share with my family. I know today I have a lot going on. So the next few weeks I might be busy. I have some things I have to do with my family. So I might be off the next 2 weeks, but we'll come back, we'll reconvene, and we'll send an email out. But I want us to take this journey because I don't want this workshop to be a crutch either. I want this workshop to be a tool that you can leverage. But I need it to be a leverage tool that you can inspire yourself and transform you, right? And so the video is going to be on YouTube to reflect on, but don't be attached to the videos. Listen to the words and say, well, how can this fit into my equation? And then begin to test it because the power and the glory is in you. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just reflecting the aspect of yourself. Okay. And I want all of you to know I love you guys. You guys are
Can I
awesome.
listen to this again?
I'm sorry?
Can I listen to this again?
Yes, you can listen to this. It's going to be on YouTube.
Okay. Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
And then also, if it's something that is urgent, you need to reach out to me. I know my schedule gets crazy, but I try to respond, right? If you do not have the luck frequency and you're new to this show, reach out to me. My email address is right here. I think it's at the very back. Reach out to me and we will bless you with, I'm sorry. Here it is. You guys see it?
Yes.
We will bless you with the luck frequency so you can get started, right? The luck frequency has been very inspiring to a lot of people that call me and say,
I've been listening to love frequency.
yeah. So we'll do the luck, and if you need some love, let us know. But go ahead and because we need to start shifting, right? So it's there, and then go out and check out the Coil website. This technology is here to stay. David is continuing to refine it, and his team. Kudos to him and his team. And I'm loving the changes that they're making. I love the presentation, how they deliver this product to you in such love. And there's so much they're doing to make sure you feel empowered. And I know there are some things out there that sometimes interfere with that process, but ask yourself, what are these resistances coming in allowing my device to not work? Those resistances are in you because now you're beginning to challenge this idea of who you are to go beyond it, right? And so you begin to get this resistance. Don't freak out. Don't condemn it. Just go with grace, go inside, and synchronicity will begin to guide you. And this device will begin to align with you as it should, because this is energy. This is not something out there that is just reflective. Right? Again, I love you all. I want you guys to be blessed. And I will send an email out in about 2 weeks to let you know when the next show will be. And if you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out to me. Much love and blessings to all of you. I love all of you, and I want the best for all of you. I want you to have the abundance of life. Hopefully, when we meet again, I will be sharing some testimony with you guys about how beautiful transformation is in my life and how it can be in your life as well. Right? Stay the course. Be amazing always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.